Okay, welcome everybody. This is the first official podcast of our new podcast channel. So I'm super excited, and I first want to say, I am not law enforcement. I'm not professional, obviously, so I cannot guarantee that all this information that I find is correct, but I do my best to try to find the most correct and the correct answers that I can come up with. A lot of my research comes off of like wiki pages and stuff like that, and I just try to do my best on the research. So, and same with the pictures. Those are, off of Google. You can definitely find these pictures. They are not my own. Some of the pictures I'm going to go through today too. That's why we're doing the screen share thing. I kind of want to give you like locations and stuff like that you can actually visually see through all of this. So I'm super excited because that kind of gives you guys a visual why we're going through all of this. And it's just going to be a great way to, hopefully put the story across and all that good stuff. So we'll go ahead and get started. Today we're going to be going over Tara Calico, as you can see. Unfortunately, she disappeared, and we're going to kind of go over her story. I haven't been able to find a whole lot on her case because it is kind of weird. It's just like an abrupt disappearance, and that's all that I can find on it. But this case, is it's sad. All of them are. So anyways, this is her at 16. She disappeared at 19 years old, and I've got some notes here, so if you guys hear my notepad, that's why, just to kind of keep me on track. So we're going to start with a picture of her. She seemed to be a very outgoing and very athletic person, and you'll be able to see why. So she was born February 28th, 1969. She disappeared near her home in Belen, New Mexico on September 20th, 1988. So here you'll see Belen, New Mexico on a map. You can kind of see where that's located in the state, so kind of central. It's kind of weird because we stopped there going across the United States to spend a night. We have family kind of close to there, so we ended up staying there. And it's a very small town, and it's kind of weird that this is like one of the first cases that came up to me when I started figuring out what cases to start with. If you're like me, I have like a million different like cases that I'm interested in, and so this one kind of was just like whoa to me. So anyways, that's that on the map. She was widely believed to be kidnapped. Tara went on her morning bike ride at 9:30 a.m. and she was riding along State Road 47. So I'll swipe the picture. This is the state road. As you can see, it's obviously updated. However, you can see how wide it is. There's, it looks like it had just been paved over not that long ago. So, I mean, the road probably itself has not changed very much. And so you can see it's a pretty wide open road. And a lot of the roads, at least from my experience of going through New Mexico, they're very open like this anyways. So, kind of gives you a picture. And then in this one, you can see it goes straight through Albuquerque. It's got a decent stretch to it, up to Rio Rancho. So it's a big, long stretch of road there. Patty, who's Tara's mother, used to join her, but stopped after she felt like they were being stalked by a motorist. She suggested that Tara carry mace, but Tara declined. If my daughter, if I felt like someone was stalking my child, there would be no way in heck. Understandably, she's an adult, right? So she can make her own decisions, but I would be like, I'm coming with you, period. You don't get a choice. That's scary. That's scary to think. And I can't imagine how her mom feels, as a mom in general, but it's crazy. This is such a crazy circumstance. So the morning of her disappearance, Tara told her mother to come get her at noon, or by noon, I should say, if she wasn't back, because she has plans to play tennis with her boyfriend at 12:30. So, I mean, this girl goes on a bike ride and then comes home and plays tennis. I mean, she's fairly athletic, if not very athletic, and that's a big deal. Obviously, Tara did not return, and Patty went looking for her along her usual route and came up with nothing. So she then contacted the police. Pieces of Tara's Walkman and cassette tape were found later along the road. Patty believes she dropped this to mark her trail. Can you imagine, like, feeling like you had to leave a trail behind to hope someone finds you? That is so flippin' scary. Several people saw Tara riding her bike that day, but her bike was never found. Witnesses said they all saw a light-colored truck, possibly a 1953 Ford with camper shell, following close. So as you can see, it'll probably be looking a lot like this truck here. I could not really find one with a camper shell, so just to give you an idea, this is basically what the truck looked like. 9 months later, on June 15th, 1989, a Polaroid photo was found of two unidentified people in the parking lot in Port St. Joe, Florida. So I'll show you Port St. Joe so you can see the port, you can see its location, and it's a pretty beautiful place, honestly. This is another picture from Port St. Joe, and this is one of the beaches there. Absolutely beautiful. I would love to kick my feet up and hang out there. And this here is the port. Beautiful, gorgeous waters. I wish the picture was more clear, but it is a stunning place, it looks like. Now, here is the two locations, okay? So, New Mexico and Belen, and Port St. Joe, Florida. We're talking about 1,500 miles apart from where she disappeared and the picture was found. Insane, okay? Now, the picture shows two people seemingly bound and gagged by black duct tape, okay? One young lady and one young man in the picture. Some people believe that the woman in this picture was Tara. Okay, so this is the picture here. Clearly the young man is much younger than the young woman. The woman who found the picture said that that she arrived there at the convenience store, and a white windowless Toyota cargo van was parked in the location that she found that Polaroid. The man driving, the only description that was given was he's in his 30s and a mustache. That's it. The man was never identified. Not shocking there, that's not much to go on, unfortunately. Officials say that the picture had been taken in 1989 or later because of the film used. So at least that gives them like a timeline for this whole thing. That photo was broadcasted in July. A Current Affair broadcasted the picture. Okay, so that seems to be like an older news channel. They broadcasted the picture, and Patty, her mother, was contacted by people who saw the picture and said that they too believed that that was Tara in the picture. Now, crazy, get this. Relatives of Michael Heenley, who also lived in New Mexico, he disappeared in April 1988. They believed he was the boy in the picture. Both sets of parents met with investigators and examined the picture. How scary and crazy. Tara's mother said that she is convinced that this girl is Tara. Now, you got to think, it's these two people that went missing in New Mexico, okay? And that picture is found 1,500 miles away in Florida. Crazy. Let's see. So she pointed out the scar on the woman's leg that was identical to the one that Tara had received in a car accident. Okay, so that's a pretty strong piece of evidence there saying that that is Tara. Tara's favorite book was also seen in the picture. You can see it down there in the left bottom corner. And it's called Sweet Adriana by V.C. Andrews. Okay, so this was her favorite book. It's clearly wow, can't talk. Sorry, guys. It is clearly put in the picture for people to see. I mean, it's pretty obviously there. I could not find a better picture of the book, so we're just going to leave it there. So FBI, Scotland Yard, and Los Alamos National Lab, they all analyzed the picture. FBI came up inconclusive. Los Alamos says, no way, not her. Scotland Yard says it is Tara. So you have these agencies where no one can give you a real definitive answer because each one says something different. Oh, it's possible. No, it's not. It's not her. And yes, it's definitely her. I mean, that's crazy. That is so difficult. I cannot imagine. Heinleigh's mother said that she was almost certain it was Michael in the photo. So you have these poor parents trying to make these connections, and these agencies and the lack of witnesses and everything else. I just cannot imagine that. The identification of the boy in the photo is considered highly unlikely, as his remains were found June 1990 in the Zuni Mountains, about 7 miles from his family's campsite. So this is a picture of the Zuni Mountains. How incredibly beautiful. Okay, that is amazing. I would love to go camping there. Now, this location was 75 miles from where Tara disappeared. Police believe that Heinleigh wandered off and passed away from exposure. So they're not really thinking that these are connected from what it seems. In 2009, 20 years after the photo was found and shared by media pictures, of a boy were sent to Port St. Joe chief. Okay, so the police chief, David Barnes. He received 2 letters postmarked June 10th and August 10th, 2009 from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay, wild. One letter contained a photo that was, so printed on regular copy paper. Okay, so just regular old paper, not photo paper, nothing special. A boy with sandy brown hair. Someone had drawn a black band over the photo on his mouth to make it look like it was covered in tape, as in the photo, the 1889 photo that I just showed you guys of the 2 people. Letter 2 contained an original image of the boy. On August 12th, the Star newspaper in Port St. Joe received a 3rd letter, also postmarked in Albuquerque on August 10th, and depicting the same image of the boy. Thin black marker over the mouth. No letters, of course, contained any kind of return address or anything of that matter. No notes indicating the child's identity. Officials believe it may have something to do with the disappearance of Tara. The letters were sent at the same time that a self-proclaimed psychic had called about Tara. She said she met a runaway in California. This girl was eventually murdered. Okay, so now we're going from New Mexico to Florida to now all the way over to California. Crazy. The caller says she had dreams suggesting the runaway may have been Tara and was buried in California. Crazy. How does a picture, if it is her in the picture, how does that picture end up in Florida and she ends up in California? That's wild. Let's see. So there were searches, but they all, of course, came up with no answers. The photos were given to FBI for further investigation in hope of finding DNA or prints. 2 other Polaroids, possibly of Tara, have surfaced over the years. So we're talking 2 more pictures. One was found in a construction site in Montesino, California. The picture is blurry and it shows 2 girls' faces with tape covering their mouth and light blue striped fabric behind her, similar to the picture in the van. Okay. Copycats, maybe? I don't know. Again, with the film not being available until 1989. So you still have that timeline coming up, even though the years are going. Number 2 shows a woman lightly bound, sorry guys, in gauze and her eyes covered in gauze and large black framed glasses. A male passenger beside her on, okay, get this, they are on an Amtrak train. Wild. I'm telling you, this case is weird as heck. This film was not available until 1990. So now you're talking another year. Patty believed the first picture was Tara and the second picture was just a hoax. Possible, definitely, especially when you're talking, different years and all that stuff. Tara's sister had stated, though, that the two girls, Tara and one of the girls, had a striking resemblance. So that's got to be hard. Talk about an emotional roller coaster on that. Later developments. In 1998, Tara was declared officially dead. A judge ruled her death a homicide. In 2008, so now we're starting to get closer in the years to where we are now. Riviera, the sheriff of Valencia County, reported that he received info that 2 teens hit and accidentally killed her. According to Riviera, the boys who knew Tara drove up behind her on the road, and some sort of accident happened from that point on. They think Tara later died, and the responsible covered that up, especially because the bike was never found and all of those things. So, you're talking about a major roller coaster. And it doesn't say, if the police had told, told the families every detail that they're finding, but can you imagine that roller coaster? It's crazy. Riviera knew the names of the boys, but without a body, he can't make a case. So, he did not realize the evidence that led him, he did not release the evidence that led him to this conclusion. Now, Tara's stepfather, John, said that the sheriff should never have made comments if he was not willing to make an arrest, and that those, that quote-unquote evidence should have been strong enough to kind of investigate further and make that a bigger situation than it looked like it was. In 2013, a 6-person task force was formed to reinvestigate Tara's case. So we'll bring up Tara's picture again here. As of 2017, okay, we're real recent now. This case remains open and no arrests have been made. On October 1st, 2019, super recent now, the FBI announced that they are offering up to $20,000 for the info leading to an arrest and conviction of the responsible. So if y'all have any information, contact those agencies, because her family deserves closure on that. In September 2021, so really recent now, the Valencia County Sheriff's Office and the New Mexico State Police issued a statement that they have a new lead in the case, and that the focus of a sealed warrant for an unknown private residence located within the Valencia County has been issued, but no further information has been provided on this case at all. And unfortunately, the case remains cold. Just a couple little things that I did find beyond this case was her daily bike ride was 36 miles, guys. 36. That's a substantial bike ride daily. The bike she rode was a neon pink Huffy mountain bike. So can you imagine a bike back then? In 36 miles, that had to have been, bikes now have crazy gears and all this stuff, and I can't imagine that bike having all of that. I would have to look into that and see when gears and all that stuff came up. But, you're talking about an old style bike, That's a pretty big deal. That's very impressive. The young boy seems to have passed away before the Polaroid had been developed. So, excuse me, you're looking at kind of evidence that, and I was going to look into this Michael case, but it just seems like their main thing was he did pass away after he wandered off and was he passed away due to exposure. So you're really talking about probably, I mean, it's safe to say probably 2 different cases. But this girl, I mean, I only hope that her family finds closure someday. I hope that they're around to be able to receive that closure. So anyways, that is the case of Tara Calico. And I want to thank you guys all for joining on my first podcast, and on our new channel. So this is pretty awesome. This marks the first day of hopefully a really great thing. So thank you guys all for joining, and I so appreciate everything that you guys are listening to. Thank you.